Welcome to today's webinar, your invitation to the Sustainable Minds Transparency Catalog. I'd like to thank everyone for taking time to spend some time with us today to learn about the Transparency Catalog and how it's designed to help manufacturers who have invested in product transparency information create preference and value for their brands, which ultimately means more specifications and more sales. And I'll get to that in a minute about our approach to making that happen. But I'd like to say that we're extremely proud of all the brands that have invested in product transparency, not just the ones that we've showcased in the catalog to date. And that is the point of the catalog. So let me get started and like to plant that idea in your mind. What would it be like to have your brand and your products easily accessible to folks interested in building higher performing, greener, and healthier buildings? A little bit about Sustainable Minds. Not all of you know us. We're a B2B cloud provider of environmental product transparency applications, data, and services. We have deep expertise in product transparency, LCA expertise, material ingredient analysis and reporting, deep experience in the design of digital products and services, meaning in the cloud, and a keen perspective on making complex ideas clear. And this is why we've tackled this set of problems. We're a mission-based company. We're a for-profit mission-based company. And our mission is to operationalize environmental performance into mainstream product development and manufacturing for the purposes of driving innovation and growth. It's not about doing the right thing. It's about how do we continue to grow our economy and live on the planet in a sustainable way that reduces the impact on the built environment, reduces the impact from the built environment on the natural environment. You can see we are not like other organizations you might be familiar with. We are a program operator, like some of the names on that list. We also deliver LCA and material ingredient reporting. We don't do LCA verification. We don't do EPD verification or certification. And that's because our approach is to be able to partner with all of the folks on the list. We are an LCA software tool provider, but unlike the full strength, I like to call the Gabbies and SEMA Pros of the world, our software is designed for product development teams to use in early stage product development to be able to run LCAs on early stage concepts to understand where the impacts are occurring or might be occurring across the product's life cycle so that manufacturers can make better decisions about products in early stage design. So that was our first product. We brought our eco-concept and LCA software to market in 2010. And in 2012, when the USGBC introduced LEED version 4 and started to incentivize manufacturers for using life cycle assessment in not just product design, but in product reporting, we saw the opportunity to expand the story to drive home to manufacturers that designing greener products and marketing greener products all are driven by the same market forces: cost of natural resources, continuing expansion of regulations, managing supply chain risk, and clearly the opportunity for new product innovation, the revenues from that new product innovation, and the ability to imbue a brand with credible greener attributes ultimately to create preferences for your products and services. So designing greener and marketing greener are simply a continuous improvement loop. So if we look at what's happened since LEED V4 was introduced, what we've seen is a considerable expansion of more green building rating systems being developed. A bunch of new ones have come online since then. And certainly many more people in the building industry are on board with the idea of product transparency and its intent, which is to ask the manufacturer to simply be much more forthcoming about how they make their products, look at the entire life cycle and take responsibility, and to consider what is being put into them. And so up until product transparency was introduced, single attribute certifications and credits had been pursued, like percent recycled content, distance from a manufacturing facility, any number of product category specific credits. Each of those tell a slice of a product story, but it hasn't been until these product transparency credits and the identification of these technical disclosures has there been a way for manufacturers to be comprehensive in the way they tell their stories about how they make their products and what they put in them. But at the end of the day, people aren't looking for disclosures. The people who are looking to build buildings and earn credits to get them certified in these rating systems are looking for products that they can specify that have disclosures. And so, in the onboarding or the up-ramping of product transparency, there's been so much focus on provide disclosures. It's kind of missed the boat a little bit on the user experience, which is just this, is that people aren't looking just for disclosures. They're looking for products that they can specify that have disclosures. But even more importantly, have you made it easy? Have manufacturers made it easy to find those products that they've invested in? And further, what will a user learn about those products once they find those products and those disclosures? And that's really where we've built our solution, the transparency catalog and the transparency products, in response to that honing in on exactly the challenge with this opportunity, which is that product transparency, we believe, does build credibly greener brands, but not by simply producing disclosures. The value for manufacturers to provide environmental information about their products comes from demonstrating they understand what the data means and they actually know what they're doing. And when that happens, because making greener purchase decisions requires consistent, understandable, meaningful information, when that happens, truth, which is what good marketing is, builds trust. Trust builds powerful brands, and powerful brands create preference and value for their companies. So this is really kind of the litany of challenges facing, both sets of constituents in this product transparency cycle. We've already talked about building professionals are challenged with finding products with disclosures, but also, not easily able to understand how to use them to make decisions. And manufacturers are further challenged with maintaining any early mover advantage for those who did start early, because we're well out of early adoption. We're into early mainstream. So just producing disclosures isn't necessarily a competitive advantage anymore in a particular sector. And those folks who did start early, and even those who are getting started now, they're all looking how to leverage those investments into sales. And it's definitely been a challenge for many manufacturers to connect those dots from investment to sales. Now that people have started, it isn't going to go away. So, it does need to be operationalized into design and marketing in a way that saves time for creating those disclosures, training people inside the organization about what they mean and how to use them in their interactions with prospects and customers, and just simply the distribution of them. All of you are pretty familiar with lots of EPDs and PDFs getting emailed around, and the challenges of staying on top of those and how much time it takes to do it. It comes down to manufacturers trying to respond to what the AEC community is asking for, and it seems like it's a never-ending task that consumes more and more time. And ultimately, what they really want is to build a credibly greener brand. So it turns out, based on our research, that early in the building design process, most building professionals will go to a manufacturer's website first to do research on products. Even though there's lots of places they can go, one of the places they go first is to a manufacturer's website, which means they know the brand. They already have a preference for the brand if they're going directly to that website. So what happens when that kind of user who by virtue of the manufacturer having created transparency information has acknowledged that that user who's looking for products with transparency information is important? That's somebody you want to sell stuff to. But most often when that person comes to a manufacturer's website looking for their products with transparency information, they're really hard to find. And that's because most websites today, most websites in general, are really built in silos. Users can find product information in one sector or one silo, sustainability information in another, disclosures in yet another, and often they're not really connected. And so when, think about your own website, when users come to your site to find your products with transparency information, how do they do it? And have you actually developed what we call an intentional user experience? Has your site been designed to deliver a great experience for that kind of user who you have acknowledged is important? Are they able to find your products with transparency information and then further understand what you're doing to improve and what those disclosures actually mean? So at this point in a discussion and in one-on-one with a manufacturer, we like to ask you, what will the impact be on your business if all these problems got solved? What would a world without these problems look like for you in your business? And so we like to take some time to, again, from a user's experience, really think about the business value and how it would change the way you make products, sell products, and interact with prospects and customers. So the Transparency Catalog has been designed to address all of those challenges, both for building professionals and for manufacturers. To that end, it's an educational marketing platform. It has to be, because there's so much education that needs to happen both on the manufacturer side and the building professionals side. It can't just be a product database. And in fact, we've designed it to not even look or feel like a product database, even though by definition there's content in a database, but it doesn't behave or look like that. A couple key things that I like to set out, right up front, that the education and marketing tools are built in to the solution. They don't cost extra ever. We don't sell sponsored content. We don't sell advertising. There's no login required for people to use it. It's always free for people to use. And most important, in this world of big data and privacy, We don't sell analytics to third parties. Your data is your data. Your own analytics are your own analytics. I'll show you how you get those. We will provide trend data to all of the listers in the catalog, but we will never sell data to any third party for use in their own competitive research. And you'll see that's going to become important as this market continues to evolve. So the transparency catalog, literally the front page lists all of the brands, and it's updated bi-monthly, all of the brands who have done something to get started with product transparency, whether it's investing in environmental product declarations or any kind of material ingredient disclosures. And that's why there are many, many manufacturers like you who have a freemium listing. We want to do the market a favor to be able to put in front of all the building professionals, here's all of the manufacturers who have gotten started. They've done something. Start to know their names, start to specify their products. And for those manufacturers, to give you a little bit of a leg up to get your brand name in front of those folks who are looking for products with transparency information. But part of our promise and continued promise based on data privacy and that type of thing, we never take content from a manufacturer's website. We don't scrape the internet. We don't do any of that. We only use information that's been provided to us to one end goal: to reward the brands who are actually making better products, and ultimately to drive change, which is to reduce impacts on the built environment, from the built environment on the natural environment. And we're going to keep it super, super simple. The catalog will never get kind of bloated and over featured. It's going to deliver 3 simple use cases. Today, the use case it supports is find all products from a brand. The focus is on brands. We want people to learn the brand names. We purposely did not yet implement typical filtering capabilities that you would find in a database, and we will. And when we implement those, the 3 use cases are continued to find all products from a brand, find all products from all brands in a CSI division, and then find products from brands in a CSI division that meet the rating system requirements that the user is interested in. And this will continue to be, well designed and easy to use. So you can see we're always thinking about both sets of constituents. The catalog is uniquely designed for manufacturers to save your marketing, sales, support, and training organizations time and money, improve the effectiveness of your efforts, and deliver a measurable ROI on your product transparency investments. We like to ask manufacturers, what if you had one really super sales rep who was really immersed in all of your product transparency initiatives and could answer all of the questions that might come up in a lunch and learn or from any of your partners or distributors? That person would be pretty valuable, right? But what if every one of your salespeople could be like that? Think of the influence or the effect that that would have on your business. And that's what the catalog is designed to do. And in turn, we've made it possible for building professionals to find all the brands and all their products easily in a glance. No hunting, no failed searches. Let's see everything all at once. Understand what those disclosures mean and how to use them to meet rating system requirements. Learn more about what the manufacturer is doing, be able to share feedback with manufacturers and people in their own companies or partners. And if all that happens, they're going to reward those manufacturers by specifying their products and ultimately getting those products purchased and into those buildings. So all of this is designed to drive change, which we know is hard. And it's also designed to continue to leverage every investment the manufacturer has. So, earlier we talked about it's challenging for users when they come to the manufacturer's website to find all their products with transparency information. The catalog is really designed to help people find those products no matter where they go, whether they come to the catalog to start with or whether they come to your website. They're going to be able to find your listing with all of your products with transparency information, and it will feel like it's integrated into your site. And I'm going to show you how that works. When we do one-on-ones with manufacturers, we like to walk through this value proposition table. There's two ways to measure value, either cost reduction or value creation, and every manufacturer does it a little bit differently. We like to pick at least a couple scenarios where you can really measure either through value creation or cost reduction. A good one is here in sales and marketing operations efficiency and effectiveness. Just real simply, if you think about how often people contact you or your partners or your reps to ask, hey, do you have EPDs or HPDs for a particular product? And then somebody has to respond to that and send an attachment or email something back. When you get a lot of inbound, that takes a lot of time. So if you think about the cost of that person's time and how much time they're spending in a week, in a month, in a year, it's pretty quickly it adds up, and you're able to put a value on that. So stick that in the back of your mind as one example, and we'll come back to that later. So let me get into the demo portion. I've spent a lot of time kind of explaining, how we understand the market, what we're trying to do. Now let me actually demo the solution for you so you can begin to understand what we offer and how it may fit both your efforts today and going forward, and also your marketing budgets that you may have now or you're planning for next year. We have 4 levels of listing in the catalog. So if you're at this webinar, we've invited you because you're either at a level 0, which is a freemium, or you're at a level 1 program operator consortium listing, which means you're a customer of one of the program operator consortium members, and as a benefit, you have a listing that links to your EPDs and to your website. We only have 2 levels of listing that we sell, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. Our standard listing and ultimately our featured brand. And if you look at the categories of things that get offered, there's several types of ways we help people find products and disclosures. There's a number of branding capabilities that are included. We have marketing opportunities that are also included. And then we have some very interesting partner opportunities coming up. And then also the analytics, which, that's not part of our business model to charge people for analytics. We don't want to be in the way. So I'll show you how we deliver that. So let's start with an overview of a standard listing, and then we'll go over to the catalog, and I'll actually demo some of these. I'm going to show you what the components are. So the standard listing has your logo, which links to your website. You've got some custom introductory content where you get to talk about your commitment to transparency or the introduction to your company. You've got an invitation for people to contact you. This is, again, free text. It can say whatever you want. It can have a link to an email. It can have a link to a contact form, a dealer locator. It can have a phone number. It can have both. You select one representative image, which is great because it means you're not managing a whole bunch of assets. It's just one and it doesn't change. It can be impactful. I'm going to talk about this table in just a minute. I'm circling around. Below the table is more custom text where you can expound again on what you're doing to make greener and healthier products, your commitment to transparency. This is where you can talk about single attribute certifications that are potentially important to your product category and which ones you have. What you're not seeing on the page, but embedded in the code, is your own Google Analytics tracking code. So you at any point in time can check your own Google Analytics. We're not brokering that for you. You get to look whenever you want, see what products people are interested in, what links they're clicking on. So circling back up to this table, and this is where we'll take a deeper dive, the table is organized by product. In each master format division, you have products in. And then we show which types of disclosures you have for each product, whether you have both an EPD and one or more material ingredient disclosures, or just one or the other. This link goes to the product page on your website. These links go to the actual disclosures. And now everything is all in one place for users to find products and their transparency information and get more information as they see fit. These social media links are built into your page. I'll demo those in just a minute, but this is where the value of the listing really can be leveraged in terms of getting the information out to anyone who's asking with just a click of a button, taking no time, and helping your marketing folks leverage your story by having a customized built-in social media campaign. And this slide illustrates the opportunity for talking about other category-specific attributes that are important and other certifications that you may have gotten for your products in addition to the transparency credits. When you launch your listing, we give you a set of graphics that you can put anywhere on your website that people might be looking for your products with transparency information. So this is how we help you help your users find all your products with transparency information. So wherever they might look, you're going to put this graphic that invites people to find all your products with transparency information. We have a few versions that we offer you. And so when the user clicks here, they're taken to the listing in the catalog. And when they click the product information, it takes them back to your website to get the more product information. And when you or they use the social media links, those are customized, built into the page. You click the link for Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and it looks like this, customized for your brand using the transparency catalog graphic. So we're building a visual brand, and that links people right back to your listing. So I'm going to go to the demo. Here's the transparency catalog front page. And you can see we have now over 800 brands and thousands of products in the catalog as manufacturers continue to invest in product transparency. We recently added a couple of new brands. These are two brands from Bluestone, Armstrong Ceiling and Wall, Sika Sarnafil, Carnegie Fabrics. Let's dive in here for just a moment. We did a webinar last month with CHIPS, the collaborative for high performance schools. And let's take a look at the listing table. Now, remember I said the table is organized by CSI master format. So a user can look at any CSI master format division they're interested in, and in a glance, see all the products that are in that division. I can click here and go to the manufacturer's product page. I can click here and get the EPD and click any one of these material ingredient disclosures and get the full disclosure. So it's all in one place. And the user can see, without digging in, a little bit more information about the attributes. You can see that this is a global EPD, it's valid. The user can also see a little bit about the scope and results of each of these disclosures. And for those disclosures that are not rating systems, but actually disclosures, we've built in, this is part of the built-in education, these tooltips that help people understand what the scope and results mean. And so in a glance, the user can see that the scope of this HPD is that it's 100 parts per million, characterized, screened, and identified, and the highest benchmark ingredient is an LT unknown. So if the user wants to know more, they can dig into the HPD. We do the same thing over here for the Type 3 environmental declaration. Lots of folks don't know what those are, and therefore having this handy tooltip explains what they are. We always send people to read the technical standard if they like, if they really want to get that much information, so it's high level and detailed. But going back to the design of the listing, so the user can browse by CSI master format. We also append the manufacturer's brand name or a descriptive name so that the user can better understand how the manufacturer talks about their own products. But in a glance, I can look at one section or I can look at everything. And this allows you, the manufacturer, to display all of your products with transparency information all in one place. What's important about this is that many EPDs, in fact, most EPDs and many of the material ingredient disclosures might cover 5, 10, 15, 20, 100 products if they're all made from the same ingredients. That's very difficult to discern from just looking at the disclosure. And most manufacturers have not figured out a way to convey all the product variations, whether it's at the group level, the family level, the SKU level, thinking about the way people specify products to make sure that it's clear that there is a disclosure for each of those products. So now if I think about I'm a user and I want to get my lead credit for EPDs, and I need my 4 permanently installed products from 5 manufacturers, there's way more than 4 products here I can choose from in a glance, and that's all super easy. Now, the other thing I want to demo is these social media tools, like I said. So now let's go back to the scenario about people are emailing you, hey, do you have EPDs for a particular product? Now, instead of a customer support person or a sales rep having to go find that EPD or direct them, and email that out, direct them to their website, all they need to do is come here to the listing, click that link, and hold on one second. I'm going to go to a different listing because my browser isn't configured. We'll go click that link, and it brings up a customized email. In this case, now we're at the Knopf listing that says, take a look at this catalog listing for Knopf insulation. And the URL is built right in. It's an email, so you can change up the text. But now it's super easy to not only send them to your listing to get the information, you're teaching them to fish because you're not responding to the individual request. You're saying, hey, all of our products with transparency information are here. And further, now let's turn it around to another scenario. An architect is doing some product research. They find your brand. They get excited about your products. They can click that link and email the other people on their team saying, hey, check out all the products from Knopf that all have transparency information. Let's discuss which ones we might use. So just that button alone, we've been told by a number of our listers that that's the ROI right there. Now, if you don't have both EPDs and material ingredient disclosures for your products, no worries. We want to help every manufacturer who's done something get started. So here's an example. Carndine has done EPDs. They haven't done material ingredient disclosures. So we don't display that side of the table. We don't want people to say, oh, look, they haven't done that other thing. No, the focus is on, look, they've got EPDs for, over 100 of their products. Easy to find, easy to use. And the same thing for those who have material ingredient disclosures and not EPDs. Here's an example of that type of listing. Now, we only use the accordions when there's more than 10 products per group. It makes it easier to browse. So here's a listing that has fewer than 15 products. We even have a listing that has one product. And in contrast, here's a listing that has over 800 products from a variety of brands. This is the first time Tarkett has been able to put all of their products from all of their brands all in one place so that users can find all the products from all their brands and get the disclosures that they need. A quick look at some of the other educational tools. This rating systems page is the master decoder that helps you explain to your sales reps, your constituents, anybody who's coming to the site. Great for training, sales training, about the whole product transparency space, that there are 5 green building rating systems that offer credits for product transparency. And here are all the disclosures that are accepted by those rating systems and the level, what the scope and results need to be for eligibility. And so we link to all of the websites for those programs, again, so you can learn more, but make it real easy to understand how those disclosures map to the rating system's eligibility. Again, we've got these tooltips built in, so there's all that knowledge and understandability built in right there. And that's really the overview of the Level 2 listing. Now, I want to talk about the featured brand, and to do that, I'm going to quickly go back to my PowerPoint presentation and give you a quick overview of the featured brand and the transparency products. And this is really where we started. We built our first transparency product 4 years ago. The catalog was only launched last year at Greenbuild as a container for the information that the manufacturers were creating. So that's really a bottoms up rather than top down approach. We're not in the catalog business. We're in the business of helping manufacturers tell their greener product stories in a way that helps their products get specified. So the transparency products are the solution to exactly that. They're next generation marketing tools that turn disclosure into brand value by integrating product transparency into product marketing. They're designed to inform greener and healthier purchase decisions. They integrate the product sustainability efforts into one integrated story to make those efforts understandable, but also meaningful for non-technical readers. And so by providing the value add of integrated explanation and improvement stories, it's a step change from just providing a disclosure, because disclosures don't tell those stories. They're not required to. And they're designed to be not just credible, but cost-effective, standardized, and really easy for salespeople to use so that everybody is literally on the same page. Your talking points can all be built in. People can get that information themselves, or it can be delivered through your salespeople. Again, it can be found through your own website, and they're designed to help you build a credibly greener brand. We've got 3 types of transparency products. One is our transparency report, which is our brand of EPD, a real innovation in thinking about what kind of content should be in an EPD. Why separate it from the marketing content you also have to deliver? Our material health overview standardizes material ingredient reporting, so no matter which program you choose, you can deliver both the technical information with the interpretation of what does it mean and what are we doing to make healthier products. And then there's the performance fact sheet, which is for manufacturers who have created a lot of product transparency disclosures and want to be able to integrate that with marketing information and make all that transparency information findable in one place. And all of these tools are delivered in the brand showroom, which is what the cornerstone of the featured brand is. That's how a user first experiences your products and then gets into the integration of product transparency and product marketing. So our transparency report is our brand of EPD. Everything somebody needs to know to make a purchase decision is on page 1. And this is what you're seeing here. This is all page 1. Performance dashboard has features and functionality, environmental performance. You can see that it has all of the verification information to show that it has been third-party verified. It is registered in our program. But what's unique about it is that it's 3 pages, not 10 pages, not 20 pages. It's 3 pages. It's in the cloud. And page 3 is even optional. But it's actually the most interesting page because it's where the manufacturer can talk about and tell the stories of what you're doing in each stage of the product's life cycle that's delivering performance improvement and helps make the LCA results delivered here on page 2 have meaning. We've made the LCA results simple and understandable. The left side of the page delivers the technical information, and the right side is the interpretation. What does it mean? That's what people are looking for. What does it mean? Don't just give me this data. Explain to me so I understand it, and then help me make meaning from it. The material health overview, our second type of transparency product, is like the transparency report in that it's designed to leverage your investment in material evaluation to have a credible and effective marketing tool. What we identified when all of these different types of material ingredient disclosure programs are available to manufacturers to earn credits, our question was, well, why are there so many different programs? And how many should a manufacturer use to report this information? And are they telling different stories? So you think about a user's perspective, building professional, all they really want to know is what's in the product. Are there any hazardous or ingredients I should know about? If yes, how bad are they? Are there any exposure concerns, and what's the company doing to improve the human health impacts? There are no disclosures that tell that story. But every disclosure or rating system has their own set of technical data that tells the technical component of that story in a certain way. So the material health overview has 4 different versions for each of the types of programs that have been identified by the green building rating systems, which can be integrated into the transparency report so that a user only has to look in one place to find both environmental and material ingredients. The page is designed the same way. On the left side is the technical results of the program. The right side is the interpretation. What does it mean? What's in the product? All those questions that I just listed, the manufacturer can answer in free text. We provide guidance how to do that. And you can start talking about what you're doing to improve. And of course, you get the value in the rating systems and links to the actual disclosures. The third transparency product is our performance fact sheet, which is, notice again, all 3 products have the same design, which is page 1 of the transparency report. They all have the performance dashboard. They all link back to the manufacturer's website. They link and list all of the certification and rating systems. In this case, again, it's designed for product transparency early adopters. It's 1 page, combines all the product information, your transparency data, value in the rating systems, and it can be used like the other transparency products for product groups, product families, individual products, depending upon how you market your products. And so it's similar to the catalog listing in that right here from that page, the manufacturer can list all of the types of disclosures in any of the programs that you've utilized. Again, simple, low-cost, high-value way for people to find all your products with transparency information. Now, we launched the performance fact sheet with GAF. We've always worked with customers to develop each of our products. Toto was our strategic partner in developing the transparency reports and the material health overviews. Here, what you're seeing is 3 performance fact sheets from GAF, where you can see the layout is the same, and they've done differing amounts of and types of disclosures for each one. So you can see this Everguard Extreme has lots and lots of disclosures for this entire product group with accessory products. So all of the disclosures are right there. There are 4 permanently installed products. Here for this particular product, they have 2 HPDs, and that's fine. That's all we disclose in the table. All of these transparency products, again, get organized in a brand showroom, one place where everybody can find everything at a high level as well as a detailed level. And again, it's ideal for sales training as well as for use in the sales process. I'm going to go back to the demo for a moment and demo a featured brand. Let's start with Valspar. Valspar selected, even though they have many, many, many products, they simply wanted to tell their material ingredient story about the Fluoripon Pure product, which is a really innovative new coating. And so the material ingredient disclosures, they did 2, were not enough to really tell that story, which is why the material health overview is the appropriate transparency product to use to tell that story. So if you look at the Fluoripon Pure material health overview, Here's the performance dashboard. You've got the features and functionality, a quick summary of how the product has been improved or is improved, link to the manufacturer's website, help with specification. And now you see on the left the technical results of the two disclosure programs that they chose, HPD and Declare. And on the right is the interpretation and the way they wanted to tell their story about what's in the product and why. And because they've used two material ingredient disclosure programs, the requirement is then they need to explain what each one means. Why did they do both? What is a user going to do with that information? And what are they doing to improve their products? Obviously, values in the rating system and links to the actual technical disclosures. Toto here was our first customer to develop transparency reports. You can see they've got lots and lots and lots of products. And some of them have both transparency reports and material health overviews. Some just have material health overviews. And Toto has really taken the opportunity to deliver both kinds of information in one place. So here's page 2 of the transparency report. Now the user can toggle between LCA results and material health results, find all that information in one place. And Toto has really taken this opportunity to use this interpretation content to tell their story about their journey of improving their products. This first Declare label was just declared because they had two red list material ingredients. But if you go back to the showroom, this is literally chronologically, they then went back and developed an EcoDrake PVC free. We did a standalone material health overview where they got to talk about how now it was LBC compliant. And they were able to say what they had done to now get a higher rating in Declare, and to still talk about the ongoing improvements they were looking to achieve. I invite you to look at the featured brands. Featured brands also have listings, like the level 2 listings that I showed you. They have both, and that will become apparent, the value, when we add the filtering in the next quarter or two. Featured brands results will always come up at the top of a filtered listing. So for those of you who are marketers, you're probably wondering, what's the reach of the catalog and how are you getting visibility? We have all kinds of building professionals using the catalog, and because of the partnership with CHIPS, they bring another set of user types who you wouldn't necessarily get at other types of catalogs or databases. It's people who literally are responsible for schools. So you've got facility managers, local and state government people. We continue to see month over month growth of both new visitors and return visitors. But we like to really reinforce that the highest value users early on are your own internal and external stakeholders, all those people who need that information to do their job better and more effectively to build that credibly greener brand, create preference, and get your products into the spec. So we invite you to get started with a level 2 listing. We are really happy to talk to you about getting started as a featured brand. Either way, if you start as a level 2 and become a featured brand within 6 months, we'll apply the level 2 subscription to the level 3 subscription. You can see we really are committed to low cost, high value. At this kind of pricing, we've gotten feedback such as, we spend more than that on taking salespeople out at a regional meeting for dinner and drinks. So, it's not a pocketbook breaker. The quote is easy to digest. We've got subscriptions. We've got some onboarding services and some maintenance and training services that you can opt for. We really do want you to be successful. We have our customer success programs where you can present in the webinar. Once the listing is live, we give you some support in thinking about where to add those badges to your site so that people can find all your products with transparency information. And so we've come to the top of our hour, and I want to thank you for spending that time with us today. And we welcome any questions that you might have. And we are really looking forward to you adding your products to the transparency catalog. So to upgrade from your freemium listing by adding your products and making it easy for the people who care about reducing the impact from the built environment on the natural environment, help them find your products because you've made the investment and you deserve to be rewarded. So thank you and have a great day.